They're going to have 4 hours of clips here.
So how did we learn about Redemption Church? It's kind of funny. About 10 years ago, we were in Democratic Republic of Congo adopting 2 children, and we met Jonathan and Corey Spangler. Jonathan was on staff at Mercy Hill, which ended up being the sending church for Redemption.
And when we found out we were moving to Roanoke for Jason's job, and we posted on Facebook that we were moving, and Corey reached out to me, and she said, "Our church is planting a church in Roanoke. You need to look into it."
The great parts about being in a church plant would be the community, and getting to know everyone that's there at the beginning, and even now everybody that's there is highly invested and wants to be involved, has a heart for the gospel and sharing the gospel with others. Kind of our thoughts on giving, whether it be time, talent, or treasure, and maybe they're a little different, but they're all kind of the same as well. Time and talent, we feel like that it's really a part of, we're called to all be part of the body. And so if we have a talent or time to do something, we should give that time or talent to uphold our part of the body. As far as treasure, that's a lifelong process. And even before we got married, there would be parts of our story that would be working towards that. But when we first got married, we decided that we were going to tithe. And I can't remember, did we decide at the time we were going to tithe net?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So
yeah.
I don't want to get super legalistic about it all, but this is part of our journey and how we decided to give. So we would give 10% of the net on our paychecks, and just right off the top before we ever would spend it. And sometimes that was really hard.
Yeah, we were poor. We got married young and we didn't have much. And
sometimes our dates were grocery shopping.
Shopping companies.
So sometimes it was hard to give that. But then over time we got challenged that really wasn't our first fruit. And so kind of frustrating for me, actually. I don't know for Missy, but for me it was like, oh, come on, God, I'm already doing this. I'm already giving more than most people, is what I felt like in my selfish heart. But we were convicted that He calls us to give our first fruit, and He's really after all of our heart and not just, the net of our heart.
Everything that we have is His, and we're just called to be good stewards of it. So I think holding loosely to everything, we've always commented that we can do more with God's blessing and 90% or less of our income than if we kept 100% of our income and kept God out of it. We would rather have Him in that with us.
Really, it comes down to obedience. We just feel like God calls us to obey Him in all areas of our life, but it feels like He talks about money a lot in the Bible, and I think it's because where our heart or where our treasure goes, that's where our heart's going to follow, because of how we are made as humans. And so if we invest, in the local church, then our heart's going to be there. We're automatically going to want to be involved there.
Yeah, I think the Bible talks a lot about money because God knows our hearts, and He knows that we are going to be drawn to that we want things, and we want to find our satisfaction in things and possessions, and those make horrible gods or idols even. And so He teaches us a lot about not putting our hope and trust in money, but putting it in Him, who will never fail.